Hello, everybody. In today's tutorial, we're going to build a fun chatbot using Stack AI, Shopify, Airtable, and that's it. Let's get into it. All right, so we're in Stack AI canvas, but before I get to building the bot, I would like to give you guys some context of what the goal is. So we have a Typeform, which is this one, and this company is selling smart home devices, like for control, automatically to control lights and heat, and using voice control, Alexa, stuff like that. They're asking around, I think, 13 or 14 questions, and based on the answers customers providing to these questions, we want to search our product database, which is in Airtable, synced from Shopify to Airtable. And I'm going to explain how to do that just in a second. Okay, we need to upgrade the plan. But anyways, this is our product database from Shopify. And let me close this one actually. From Shop synced from Shopify, we have prices, we have product title, we have Shopify ID, which is our primary key to match the items. We have handle, and we have built a product URL, which is customer facing URL. So in order to sync all this information, and we have also synced like all our articles, because it's a different project that we give them installation manual. So we have all the articles, we have all the pages, we have all like manufacturer support, all kind of stuff. But for this tutorial, we're just going to stick with our products, right? Okay, so how AirPower, how to connect, how to sync your Shopify products slash product information to Airtable, which can be used in Stack AI easily. I mean, there are quite a few ways you can use APIs, for example, but we're going to use Airtable because that's just easy way to manage everything, and there are integrations with Make, Zapier. It's just a whole lot easier to do all sort of stuff. I don't have an access to a Shopify store right now, but it's super easy. You just install this AirPower Shopify app, and then it's just some data mapping. It's super easy, and they have also a template and tutorials. If I had access, I would go through it, but I don't. So anyways, AirPower to get synced, Airtable, and let's Shopify. Get into Stack AI and see what we actually need. Let's put this skeleton first. So this here is going to be a Typeform. Let's start with the Typeform. So if you just click on Authenticate, once authorized, if you have access to your Typeform from the backend, you'll see all the form IDs. Ours, like this one, is that ID. You can see up there. And you just click on Enable Webhook. And we're going to fill out the form and see, we're going to start off with testing the Typeform because in this, but then everything makes better sense. So let's go to the form. What type of home are we making? Let's say apartment. Areas, let's say bed and kitchen. Number of beds, let's say 2. Number of kitchens, let's say 1. Let's say I have an Alexa. No, please suggest 1. Okay. Hands off, for example, let's say 3. I don't care. Let's say lighting. I'm jumping through this because it doesn't matter as much for us, just to demonstrate. Let's say just something like this. Okay, Okay, now we had the webhook enabled, right? So if you go to trigger history, there you go. This is the form we just filled. And as you can see, this is in a long, weird format. So it needs to be cleaned. Um, so the way to test a project with Typeform is you just do what I did. Then you go to trigger history. Then you need to copy the answer. Then you need to, not there, then you need to paste it in the input, and then you can test it. Note, this is just for testing. In real case, when it's live, you remove the input and you just connect your Typeform to whatever the next step is. I'm not going to connect it now, but it should be right like that when it's connected. But for testing, put it in the input. Okay, so we have our Typeform ready. As you can see, it's in a bad format. So the first LLM, let's say, do the cleaning of the Typeform. Then I would need another LLM. Let's say let's say my Airtable. Then I need my Airtable database, right? Because products are there. Then I need my Airtable formula LLM. Then I would need an Anthropic model to do the matching. So this one cleans, this one do the formula to search in the database, because you need to provide a formula so it knows what to search for. Don't assume because it's an LLM, you can just connect it and it figure out everything by itself. You need to give it a lot of context and uh, a lot of things to take into consideration. So anyways, our formula are Anthropic to digest and cross match the products in Airtable. And then I would like to have, I would love, I would like to have another last LLM, a GPT, to put everything together and draft the message, right? So let's start off with the first LLM. I would like for this one to be GPT-4 because I found GPT-4 is reliable and it's fast and it's a little expensive as a pitfall. The I'm going to go over prompts now, but note the prompts I'm going to write here are result of a lot of trial and error. So you don't need to obviously copy and paste the exact same prompts, but you need to adjust it based on your needs. For example, if your client is selling, I don't know, shoes, then you want to, match the size and everything, and you don't need to say like you only need one controller hub. You know what I'm saying, right? So it should match the context. In this case, we're based on considering what we are selling for the system. You'll be analyzing customer forms filled with queries and responses. Based on this information, you create a one sentence summary, write a list of the products that the customer would need to buy in order to achieve their desired results. Always consider any existing devices the customer may have and ensure compatibility between new and existing devices. Remember that at home, I mean, because again, it's a result of a lot of trial and error, so I had to tell it this one and exclude from the database. Okay. And like I'm talking about, because I forgot to add the database and explain something, but I'm going to do it just in a second. And you understand what I'm getting, the website and the tool, which is a plugin. Before that, let's go and set up the actual prompt, which will actually generate the output. Is given the context, search the database, and write the list of products that the customer would need to buy in order to achieve their desired results. Make sure to include quantities based on the number and everything. So, what is all going about this database thing? Because our database is an Airtable, right? But in order for this very first LLM have some sort of clue of what's going on and where it should recommend products and everything, I'm going to enable it with a few weapons, with a few tools. So one is going to be a plugin to scrape the web for our website. And the other is going to be a knowledge base, which is an offline knowledge base, which consists of documents. And what are inside the documents? It's just product title. So all the product titles are in that document. So this LLM has some clue what to search for and what's all about. So I'm going to click on upload. Oops. Um, I'm going to Okay, I'm going to give it this document as well. So in your case, if you're exactly doing Typeform or your input is somehow bad, because take something into consideration, and this is really important. Just let me do the connections. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. That's the input inquiry. So the input goes here. In real life, Typeform goes there. And this one goes to the LLM, and that one is already connected to the LLM. So we are good. Why? Okay, one thing really important. In order, if you have an Airtable, as I said, you need a formula. And a formula, you need an LLM. And every LLM needs an input. You cannot give your formula generator LLM a weird format like this. You have to give it something clean. So we're giving it a list here. So it knows, okay, it knows what's formula to create to look for those items in the list, right? So that's why we need this first LLM at all. Let's connect everything to it and the quantities. And then we have questions and answers, and we have the database. So this is step one. Step two, let's go over database. I'm going to connect it to Airtable. Super duper easy, guys. Easier than this, it's just boring. Back to Stack AI, base, table. Our vector database is the LLM, or Anthropic LLM. Why Anthropic? If you ever watch any tutorial from Stack AI guys, you know why Anthropic, because it's the model that is able to handle large amount of data. It's a better option than the GPT models, or honestly, I never used Hugging Face or Replicate. I believe Replicate is also for Meta, the Llama 2. But I have read the Stack AI document page a lot, but it's been quite a while, so I forgot many of it. But they have this page that goes over all the LLMs and their differences and everything. Anyways, let's do the connections. I just like to do so the completion of this one goes to the input of this one. And they also make it super easy to know what goes where. So the completion of this will be Airtable formula, right? And you also want to give the Anthropic LLM access to the formula. For the formula, I'd like to have a GPT-4, and let's get to the prompt of the system prompt of this GPT-4. Again, the prompt is the result of a lot of trial and error, but this is this is the result of a lot of trial and error. And one other thing, formulas with Airtable could be a little bit tricky because you'll get a lot of errors. But this has been working for me, and I'm sure it works for me, it works for you. Your task is to generate Airtable formula. These formulas will be used to filter and retrieve multiple rows from our product database. You to create a search parameter that will look into the product title column for matches with the words contained in a list of products. And we have the list of products from the previous LLM, which is, you see the completion of that one, which we told it find the base and everything, is going to be the input for the formula. And again, we're going to test it. And if it's not making perfect sense so far, when we test it, it will. So just bear with me. All right. So this is a system prompt for Airtable formula LLM. And the actual prompt for it, it's something like this. In the original Stack AI's Airtable tutorial, you also can see this, but they have had like examples, and they also in the templates in the Stack AI they have examples, like in the system for this section by default. But I removed that one because I just thought that you don't need to have that. I realized the cleaner, shorter, right to the point, concise system and a prompt should be even shorter. In general, from experience, I'm saying you'll get better results. You'll be working with an Airtable database with with the following, consists of the following columns, and you have column and type. Then I have all the columns and types, as you can see up there. I mean, they're synced, but anyways, you can see product URL handle, Shopify ID. So we have product URL handle, Shopify. I don't have the handle. Okay, let's add the handle. And yeah, and it's single line text. I'm writing synced because it's synced from another table. If yours not, don't write synced. Your response should solely consist of the Airtable formula itself. So don't say hi, anything. You just spit out the formula itself. So this Anthropic knows what to do. And let's go to the Anthropic model and let's go to see the prompt for the Anthropic model. So for this one, I would came with, after a lot of trial and error, this prompt is what I found working the best. You draft a shopping list for our customers for the given suggested products. Where are the suggested products coming from? From the previous LLM, right? The ones that cleans the form. The product, search through your database and fetch extra space. Product title, price, URL, short summary from body HTML to draft a shopping list. Use, because it was kept on using US dollar sign. That's not US dollar, like the dollar sign, sorry. And use markdown annotation, given the context with respect to the user's goals, draft a shopping list, start with a brief intro, and then we have the context, which is LLM0, which is the one that cleans everything. Then we gave it Airtable database, which is obviously Airtable database. Then we gave it Airtable formula, which is obviously from Airtable formula, right? So we have this one cleans the form, find it in the actual database because Anthropic have actually to the Airtable database, which contains everything, URLs and everything. And at the end, Anthropic is good at searching, cross-matching, stuff like that. It's not really good in drafting or like writing emails or generating like written stuff in a good format. GPT does. That's why I have one last GPT-4 at the end to actually go over everything and like cleans it, right? Something that is deliverable to the customer. So for a system, we have, you draft a shopping list to be sent to the customer who filled the form. You remember the first step. Take the provided information and the context and draft a personal shopping list. Make sure it's in a nice format. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you can write better prompts than me, but I tried a lot of things. I tried with Flowise. I have a bestie in Flowise. She's like a GPT-4 with access to the internet. And I asked him, like, I give him prompts and like optimize it for the GPT-4 model, and it does, but uh, these ones work better. All right. So, and the actual prompt is given the context, start drafting the shopping list with a short intro, followed by the items in the list. For every item, include an example and explain why they would need to buy it and it will benefit them. Use markdown annotation. Information and content. For the last LLM, I'm going to give it access to the output of the first one, LLM 0. So it has LLM 0, and let him know what the Anthropic did as well. So Anthropic is LLM2. So we just want to, why LLM4? No, LLM2. And then go to completion. Guys, you know what we have to do right now? We gotta test it. Let's spit a bunch of outputs. One for the first LLM, two for the formula, three for Anthropic, and four is already there for the final output. So we're gonna see what these guys are doing, right? We don't want to see and wait there and watching them and then wait for the final output. We want to see who's doing what, because without that you can't debug, honestly. Simply you cannot debug effectively. And one for Anthropic dude. Exciting moments. Let's hit run and encounter. Let's see what the formula does. Let's see what the Anthropic does. You see, pulls the prices, URLs, and everything. But the format is not the best, right? For to be sent to the customer. Then we have the last LLM in the game. And this is how you build an awesome system for your Shopify using Stack AI. Hope you guys liked it. Cheers.